And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, everybody, we have a special guest. Her name is Nazihah. Kita tanya dia tadi dia dah makan ke belum. Dia kata dah. So kalau you all dah tahu, tahulah. Yes, Alhamdulillah. Marha. Welcome to the Afiq, Amin and Nazihah podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about social media influencers. How many of you out there are social media influencer? I hari tu baru dapat influenza A. Lain daripada influencer so we know that social media is changing, like it's a constantly changing landscape. Every day there's something new, every day there's different things to learn, different things to do, and every day something new goes viral. The only thing that hasn't changed is the term viral. Everything is viral nowadays. And so we are going to be talking to two very, very big experts in the social media space. And we want to know a little bit more from Tuan Datuk Paduka General Admiral Nakuda Amin Yusof dengan Nazihah about social media influencers, the impact ahead, what is going to be changing, what's new coming up, especially if you read the news. Can't remember the US is banning TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But not just TikTok, they are also, going very deep into the whole security and regulations thing. But tu cerita lain, nanti kita berbual petang ni. Hari ni, let's hear from, what was the title aku bagi kau? Tuan Datuk Paduka Nakhoda General Secretary General Amin Yusof. All yours, brother. What do you think?
So I think basically this social media, the trends coming right now, I think first and foremost, we need to understand that it's becoming more dangerous for the younger generation, especially for kids. Because unmitigated is unfiltered. Right? So if you as a parent, you kan parent kan? Anak berapa 10?
Alhamdulillah.
So if you have children and you don't...
I ada anak dua. Okay, anak dua.
But if you don't really understand what, or you actually take into consideration what your child are actually seeing and what your child actually following, whom they are following, right? It can get a bit dangerous because they can get very misguided. They can find that, is this the norm? Is this something which is actually normal for people to say, right? We don't know, right? So with social media influencers in the future, and I mean now also, right? It's very important to understand we need to be careful because they are called influencers, but what kind of influence? Is it good influence?
Bad influence?
Or bad influence? And the Batman ke Robin?
But Batman and Robin are both on the same side.
Oh, I hear a different story. Naughty.
Jangan sikit, jangan cerita.
Yeah, but to be honest, it's really true. I mean, like the one I saw a video yesterday about Mr. Beast, right? So Mr. Beast is actually defending one of its members, not members a close friend of his, right? That just came out to be bisexual, right? Who just came out to be bisexual. By the way, he has a child and he's married. So he just came out as bisexual. He don't want to use the pronouns he, right? So they don't want to get labeled as such. So I mean, in a more conservative country like ours, right, like Singapore, Malaysia, right, Asian countries, we're a bit more conservative, right? However, what about our children? Because these are unfiltered and this is on the net, and these are the people whom they watch, whom they get entertainment from. We don't grow up with that, but for them, this is what they are growing up with. It's becoming something which is about principles and values, right? And if we as a parent or we as an adult, we don't educate people, right? It can skew towards, a lot of negativity. It can influence in a very unpositive manner, right? And it becomes dangerous for the mindset of a growing child, right? So I mean, there's a huge debate whether we are supportive of all this, right? All that, right? So that's another matter itself. I mean, to each his own. I always say, to me, it's like to each his own. You are the control of your own life, and if you're a child, your parent control you, not you control your parent, right? So with the advancement of social media, with unrestricted access to TikTok, YouTube, Netflix, and all that, right? it's becoming more and more pertinent for parents to take very, very, very strong attention and deep attention towards what your child is actually seeing. Because there's subtle cues that, you know, they can grow up with and they think that it's normal. But for you, it's okay. But for them, it's normal for them. Like, well, I see this every time. So much, my friend. We talk about this all the time. Then you'd be like, what?
Yeah, because it's like most
Good.
of my younger cousin plays Minecraft. They play with US people. All the words that they are using is very kalau kita the F word dah kasar kan. But to them it's just a normal. It's a very normal word. So as an adult, we have to supervise the youngsters, what they are watching, who are they playing with and everything.
Betul, I agree, 100%. As a dad, as a father of two, my daughter is 8 years old, my son is 5, just turned 5 2 weeks ago.
Oh, happy belated.
Hooray! Dah besar, not ready. Sejuk hati bapa. Kan? But absolutely, like for example, Nazihah, you mentioned, obscenities, vulgarities, and both of you might be very surprised, but both my kids, I taught them a very early age the F word. I'm very proud of myself. I taught them the word. I was like, okay, babies, it's a bad word. You don't anyhow use, but you want to use, you only use it when absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. When you really angry, then you use. And here's the best part. They don't use it. They know it's there. And when they're in like social settings with the like the playground, and sometimes if you notice, you go to playground, you see older kids, right? Especially those, about 10, between 10 to 12, they're just feeling nak dewasa, dah besar. I'm adult now, so they start to curse and swear, thinking that it makes them into an adult. But when the parent walks by, can't. So you all will understand. And so I've seen it many, many times. And so when one of them comes up to me, Pauto, your children use the F word. Both my kids come up and say, no, we didn't. I'm like, yeah, I know who uses and who doesn't because I taught them how to use.
Yeah, because they are exposed in the early age.
Right. And so that's the thing when you talk about social media, you talk about even just media in general. I control what they watch on TV. I control what they watch on TV. They're not allowed to watch nonsense shows, as I call it. No learning, nothing. No value. And so it's the same with social media. My kids, my daughter just asked me the other day, Daddy, can I have a phone? Can I have a phone? I said, why do you want to have a phone? So because my friends have a phone, they can play games, they can do that. And I'm like, okay. First off, you have to prove to me you're responsible and you get one. She has failed every test I have given her to be responsible. So every time she fails the test, I tell her, see, you're not responsible, I cannot get you a phone. She's like, yeah. She has to learn to be responsible. But as a parent, I am absolutely responsible for the stuff they consume. Right? Not just, makan and cakap pasal makan during bulan Ramadan. Not just food, but whatever they consume visually, educationally, orally, everything they consume, we are responsible for. And on that note, talking about social media influencers, etc., we are also responsible for what we consume.
Yeah, true.
We know what is going on out there. We know whether or not we are strong enough to maintain our core values when opposing values or opposing views come out on social media. Are we strong enough to hold that? And also to guide and lead the family, especially the young little bears, the children. They will ask questions. Daddy, how come in some countries men and men can be boyfriend? How do you answer that, Nazihah?
Habis.
Sampai soalannya habis.
Then she asked me the same question. Daddy, how come in some countries girls and girls can be girlfriends? Amin, how you answer?
For me, I think basically, I come from a very conservative background, right? But I also I'm not saying I have a liberal mind because, as a person, as an individual, you have values, right? And for me, being a Muslim, the values come from a very Islamic standpoint, right? For me, you are free to do what you want, however, it's your choice, but I don't restrict. You are free to do whatever you want, but to me, that is wrong. Right? Why? Because I don't question Quran, basically, right?
Yeah.
Who am I to question, right? However, if a kid is asking such a question, we as adults need to know that the level of understanding that they may comprehend is a little bit different. You know, during my time, I can share with you. During my time, when I was still a child, right, or younger, like that too. When I was still younger, when I
Carry
was still
on.
younger, yeah. When I don't know, is I feel also will go through this last time. So when we are still young, we play
I'm still young.
playground where sand, right, sand and all that, right. Then when we see like when we see like Bapo, Kunyang, right, then we will laugh at them. Now you cannot do the same thing.
Yeah, true.
You are
True.
you are actually prohibiting them from expressing themselves, right? It's wrong to discriminate against the LGBTQ people, right? It's wrong. It's a statement. It's a self what it's something that comes from your own self from what they claim lah.
Yeah.
That I mean that we have to educate our children. I mean, but really we really have to educate what is right, what is wrong, right? Why is it wrong? What is it right? Like biology wise, common sense, logical wise, right? You are free to love freely,
Anyone.
up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, there is for me lah, there is quite a very obvious sense of biology there, right? If not from the beginning, we would have created men and men, women and women,
True.
right? And our biology would be the same, right? So we need to educate and not be shy with your children about what they see, because they are actually getting it frequently. That's also I always say to people, with social media, you have to be very careful because there is subtle indoctrination that is happening. Believe it or not, there is subtle interpretation that is happening throughout the cartoon series, Disney even, right? They are liberalizing and normalizing, desensitizing LGBTQ, that it's okay for you to not have a gender. It's okay for you to like another the person with the same gender and all that, right? However, if we as a parent or we as an adult in the family, if you have principles that you abide by, that you need to stand firm, because it's fair for both sides, right? For me, what I always say is like, if it's from their standpoint, they want that freedom, I give you that freedom, but don't put it on people. You are free to say whatever you want. I'm free to accept and not accept whatever I want to, right? So the fine line the children of the next generation are going to face is a very different challenge, a different set of challenge. We cannot have our own mindset thinking that it will work. Scold them. No, you cannot ask such a question. It's wrong to ask such a question. No,
Yeah, betul,
because
betul.
they don't get the information from you, they'll get information from somebody else or something else.
Yeah.
This question is like, I takut nak jawab because my friend always chalk I as a liberal punya person. Okay, Malaysian, they are afraid liberal ni, dia punya terms liberal je, diorang dah takut. Because diorang fikir, oh, I accept of this everything that semua. But tapi, it's not that I'm accepting, but I respect them as a human being. Because diorang pun macam, they are human, they are free to love anyone, but we as a Muslim, we have to like cakap, tapi if they don't want to listen, lantak you lah, you nak dengar, tak nak dengar. And for kids pun, kalau if they ask this question, we have to, jangan takut to answer this. Because kalau kita takut to answer, they will dengar a misinformation and lead to a different kind of situation.
Jangan dengar, jangan dengar.
Yeah,
You
so,
can't just sweep it under the rug.
Yeah,
or maybe like don't jangan kawan dengan dia, jangan kawan dengan dia, jangan so it's like
Don't friend you.
yeah. so orang-orang macam ni, orang macam bully, discourse bully punya situation and everything, so boleh lead to suicide, depression, which is why we have to open in this ni lah, for social media punya any topic, we have to be truthful and jangan takut. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. In today's hyper-connected world, you can get any kind of information, misinformation. You can get anything online. You just have an internet connection, and even with the parental filters on, also it will still sneak through. So I think for us, one of the things that we have to understand. Are you a parent? Just checking. Anybody here other than me?
No.
Not yet.
Yes,
not
neither.
yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. So having that filter also does help. This one from a dad's perspective, lah. Let's put it that way. But of course, that's one aspect of it. How we consume, how our children consume social media. But what about from a business perspective? How is social media changing? How are things, going to be different moving forward in the next 3, 5, 7, 10 years? Especially now we talk about AI. AI bukan roti canai, AI coming up with how you have micro influencers, you have different niche influencers, you have more than multiple platforms coming up. What's it gonna look like for business owners?
It is
For
proven.
me,
Oh, sorry.
so basically for me, if you were to look at how businesses work now, right? Like I said in the AI video, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, right? AI is already here. It's already integrating with our lives. Like how, if you ever seen, old people with internet and emails, like that feeling that they don't know how to use. If you are not integrating yourself with AI now, that's how you are going to be in the future, right? Certain jobs are going to be made obsolete. Certain jobs are going to integrate it to make it be much easier to get done. Like numbers, spreadsheets, right? Excel sheets, coming up with content is so much easier, all of that. So in terms of marketing itself, the new high is gonna be set, right? Rather it used to be here, right? Now when the market, there's more availability towards content, right? Everybody will start making. So the standard is being set. So new standards are going to be set every single day from now on. Right? It's not a matter of years. The integration of AI is already here, and it's a matter of months. Google has started fighting with ChatGPT, right? They start investing. They're revealing a lot of their cards right now. If you're following, right? ChatGPT isn't the only player around. Google with Bard, the Russian one, right? So it's a matter of how you're gonna use it and make sure that it appeals to you. Right now, it's still uncontrolled to a certain extent because it's all new software tech. But eventually, the hype will settle down. People will start to see how I do my work with AI. Because if there is a shorter way to do it, why not, right? So same with marketing itself. Am I seeing the marketing of something which is true or something which is AI made, AI rendered, right? How do I differentiate? So is there a new form of legality going to get involved, right? So if you are using AI, you must state there that this is AI or whatever, right? Because how do you differentiate from a real person to an AI? It's going to be hard. The gray space is going to get thinner and thinner. So what do we do? In social media, in work, in life, in personal, what are we using our AI and how is it being used? Because I see schools using AI to learn, ChatGPT, they tell kids, just ask them any questions, they will answer you, right? So how do we mitigate? How do we use it? It's still something which is slightly raw, but it's a moving, the trend is moving upwards, and there's no stopping it. So in terms of business, what I feel about business in AI, it will integrate with businesses in a way that I think we cannot fathom now. But it's going to make a lot of activities which is mundane automatic. That's what I'm saying. Then there is still that human element. However, AI is not going to replace humans right off the bat. No, certain work are, right? But in terms of maybe in terms of like content, in terms of marketing, right? There is going to be somewhat, I feel, a 50-50 approach. So it's going to be hard for consumers, especially. It's going to be hard for consumers to pick up what's true, what's not. And the thing is, if it's written by AI and they understand human behavior and you give it time to learn, right? It's going to be harder to say no and to resist. What if it becomes smarter than you? Abis Skynet. Terminator. You remember that meme, Terminator? Terminator.
The meme means the last podcast.
Apa kelakar tu?
Yeah, no,
Tapi betul
I
lah.
absolutely agree. So the question now is, if you can't tell what's real, then how?
Yes, it is.
Tapi what I see lah from the TikTok punya ke apa ke, even though it's a AI, some of it is like AI form, human punya platform pun still contribute in terms of marketing, which they sell during the lives ke apa semua tu kan, and all the influencer, dia kata if you notice nak beli pergi tekan beg kuning. So basically they also need a trust from orang bercakap and everything. AI is number one, but how we role play, how we influence untuk orang beli ke apa semua tu is still a need juga. It's yeah, because nak tak nak, even though AI, we still can differentiate if AI bercakap and kita bercakap. AI cakap kan macam ada trigger something yang macam ni robot ni. So dia ada nampak. Because it's like
Afiq, is
too
that Afiq or is
perfect.
that AI Afiq?
Because AI is like too perfect, which is dia suara pun hilang.
That's why I think it comes from the to be human is to be imperfect.
Yes.
Oh, I saw atas tadi ni.
So, knowing that, now with in the era of deep fakes, AI voiceovers, virtual avatars, etc., and we know the technology is only going to get better and better and better and better. And eventually they are going to be programming in the imperfections as well.
Aku takut dah.
I saw one AI voice generator. One of the things they said was it sounds like a real person because we include the pauses. Because you can tell when something is AI, when it's just so monotonous and the tone doesn't change, but it sounds like a real person, but after a while, like dia betul. It doesn't sit right. So they're programming in the imperfections. So like right now, I'm not even here. This is an AI generated avatar of myself. It's talking to you all.
Now we're doomed. We are so doomed.
So how? So now for those of us who are already social media influencers or those of us who are trying to be social media influencers, whether for good, for evil, tak kisah, social media is just a tool for you to reach out to your preferred audience, right? Like right now you go on IG, there's different kinds of influencers. You've got the fitness people, you've got the motivational people, you've got the business people, you've got the side hustle people, you've got the parenting people, you got the mental happiness people, so many kinds of social media influencers in different niches. Moving forward, what can an existing influencer or an upcoming influencer or a wannabe influencer, what can we, notice how we do, knowing what's coming in the future?
To be honest, put it this way. If I can create an avatar that it looks just like human and I can control what it says and what it does, do I need to be at the front facing? It's rendered useless, right? So I think that's how marketing is going to be in the future, where if you look at those, those into the future movies, right? Like androids and those sentient beings, right? Is that how it's going to be in the future? Not so dramatic, but I think in terms of the mitigating rules such as security and things to differentiate, right? I think it will also evolve at the same time. It will also evolve. Because to be honest, right, if right now, I put it this way, right? I'm going to take it to the extreme. If right now I have deep voice, right? I have planted bugs inside your house that can get the voice so that it talks like a child, and I kidnap your child. And the voice is like of a child, it looks like your child, and it sounds like your child. What happens next? So the advancement of security to mitigate such actions will also have to evolve. Just like how internet, when it's unrestricted internet, you have a lot of all the cookies getting ripped off by other servers and kind of shit, right? They have the dark web, which is unmitigated. So all the Norton antivirus, all the companies will start to come together and say, how do I protect? same. AI is really new that the mitigation part hasn't surfaced yet. Not so much. The software to read AI what you call that AI text, right? It's of recent because there's a need to it. So anything that is birthed out of need will eventually come to fruition. So same like AI. So now you have AI software, text, images. Eventually, there's some softwares out there that's going to be able to detect and see the inconsistencies. It doesn't take a lot. It just take one or two, right? So I feel that eventually, no matter how we see that it's going to scare the hell out of us in terms of not knowing what's real and what's fake, it's still going to be, to a certain extent, controlled because the mitigation needs to happen. In every society, there is always a mitigation factor, a new set of rules, a new set of norm. It cannot be set as status quo. That's my take.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I agree. I absolutely agree. What about you, Nazihah?
If you notice, even though okay, the security wise have to be implant in terms of this AI, but as you can see, even though the technology is moving forward, but you okay, I'm not bad mouthing Malaysia, but Malaysia is not exposed with everything AI and semua tu lah, except the chat GPT where they find the answers. But as a AI for okay, if you watch Modern Family, they have a closet that can talk with us. Yeah, Modern Family. No, tak pernah tengok. Okay, that's a okay.
Oh no, kita dah tua.
Come on, Modern Family is like you guys punya.
What do you mean, you guys?
I'm not 30 yet, so I think it's like you guys.
Just assume my gender.
Okay, continue. They have a closet that can talk to you. They have a fridge that can talk to you and everything. Yes, in the Modern Family. The Modern Family, they shoot in a real time punya whatever drama series kan. So if they show inside that drama, it means they have. In Malaysia sampai sekarang tak ada lagi. ChatGPT was like what few months ago diorang baru discover. It's still a late boomer for sorry Malaysia, I love you so much Malaysia boleh. Tapi macam it's a bit late. Yeah, it's a bit. So even though AI is like moving forward and everything, even though you're like US like saying that TikTok have our personal information and everything, if you realize Google also have our personal information. If you tweet something and you delete that tweet, but when you Google, it still have that tweet that in the Twitter. Even though you delete that Twitter, everything that you delete from the Instagram or whatsoever, they still have in Google. TikTok, they have our personal information, but I don't think it will like cause us harm and everything. They also macam I have friends that working with TikTok. They filter out the content, the bad contents ke apa semua tu. So I think that one is a outweigh of the topic. However, so it's AI will not cause us dangers as much as the Terminator ke apa cerita all the IT advance will cause us harm. Tak ada. Everything will help us in the end. In security wise, like I mean cerita they can they can berlakon semula jadi ke apa kan. That's why like security wise lah. Before you have an account, you kena ada real time. Macam Google sekarang. If you nak buat Google, if you nak buat Google My Business, you have to take the road, the video on time masa tu. The road, the signature board and everything. So sama juga. That untuk tipu on that thing tak boleh because you have to record on that time juga. That particular on time. From your phone. how hard Google's right now nak buat Google My Business. It takes time. So yeah.
The TikTok thing was what I feel that is something that because it's not US owned. So
Yes.
when the government is not involved in it, they feel very insecure.
Yeah.
If you put it this way, they are inside Facebook, they're inside Twitter, they're most of the companies. So when the government is not part of the companies, they try to make excuses. That's what I find now. But you can say that it's a conspiracy theory, but it's not. For me, it's not. It's something of control and something of power. Because something which is that powerful and unregulated is something called threatening. So these countries, they have a section of people that calculate probabilities of this sort of thing taking over control and all of that. So to be honest, whatever is happening towards the industry in the future itself, there's only one thing which remains in common. The remains as the common denominator is self-ownership. You have to be able to know what to control, what your child sees, what you as an individual holds. It's more of a test to you right now, right? What do you find of that you are representing in terms of value? And you have to abide by it. Your kids, you have to indoctrinate them properly, right? To stand by, right? Be open and yet have your own standing, have your own spine. Right? So in the future, regardless of business, regardless of social media and all that, right? Is a test of the generation to understand who they are as a person, what they believe in it. Or are you going to follow the crowd and just be of the common folk? See?
Yeah,
but you have to be well. Kids nowadays, I mean like the generation Z plus plus, they are much clever than
Says
us.
the kid nowadays.
Because in my time, not everyone is smart tau. They search something, they clear the history. Not everyone. But nowadays, all the kids know how to clear the history semua kan. But the algorithm of the AI, you buka Instagram dia orang, you tengok dia punya
Search history kan, dia punya search.
not the search history, they delete already.
As in the suggested.
The suggested Tito, you can see what they are looking, what they are watching and everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
mine selalu,
TikTok.
barang Quran, doa-doa.
Yes.
Astagfirullah. Bapak dia macam mana bapak dia?
That one is Instagram. You can see the boxes and everything kan. But in
You
TikTok,
itu Afiq kan?
Huh?
Let the ones beside you the open Instagram.
bukan Instagram, TikTok lagi bahaya. TikTok you scroll up nampak perempuan lain,
Alright, man. Yeah.
So TikTok
Habis,
pun they have their
habis.
own algorithm. Like if you watch something funny and there's a memes, okay, the next video will be the same. Kalau you heartbroken, the next video will be the heartbroken punya TikTok punya tu. So it's kalau you nak tipu, you tak boleh tipu dengan orang yang pernah menipu. Gitu.
I tak tahu. Ni semua I suci. I tak tahu.
Did I
Macam mana
expose?
tu?
I think I expose everything.
Mana Halo But you know, talking about search history and all that, I remember this a empty search history is more suspicious than a full search history kan. Tengok.
Oh.
You know those memes or those anime that I watch, right? If I die, bro, delete my history, throw it into the
Delete my
water.
search history. My Chrome history kan.
Just throw it into the water. It's okay. Put it into the bathtub and just drown it in water.
But that's the thing, right? So for us, when you talk about search history, browser history, all the cookies and all, I mean, nak sembunyikan boleh. But if you tell me you open my browser today, semua kosong, confirm suspicious, right? So I guess the more important thing is when we want to apply all of this search history, browser history, it'd be easier if we didn't have to hide.
Yes.
Right? And so, for example, if my wife goes into my browser history, she sees all that, she tanya kenapa, I'll be upfront. You know, daddy just wanted to baca pasal Al-Quran, pasal doa-doa. Right? And if my children browse history and all that were looking for weird things, I have to ask, why? What's the concern? What's the question? And then set that context, set that understanding. It's fine. Daddy understands that you're curious about this kind of thing. Then I have to also, as a parent, ask them, how does that make you feel? Why do you want to do it? Is it from curiosity, or is it because you genuinely like this kind of thing? Then that's why I take steps. Instead of, for example, no, totally tak boleh apa-apa, semua tak boleh. Then I'll drive them further and further away. And it's definitely the same with us when it comes to social media, right? Like it or not, social media is here to stay. And it can be a very dangerous, very toxic place. I absolutely acknowledge that. I know this for a fact. Right? When I started getting a little bit more popular on my YouTube channel, nanti you see some of the haters datang semua salah, kau nak kena belajar betul-betul.
Confirm.
Right? We all know that. We all know this. So I think for everybody out there, for whether you're a business owner or from my perspective as a consumer of social media, I think understanding the inner workings behind it, how social media actually works, when we search for things, when we consume things, when we're looking for different things, the suggestions coming in and how they can shape what we consume and consequently shape our worldview. If all you see, for example, if in my search, all I see is nasi lemak comes from Singapore, I will believe nasi lemak is a Singaporean invention. Right?
Dia macam trigger sikit lah.
And so, understanding that it just so happened that was something that I was searching for, that just so happened to be suggested to me, I also have to be very aware that these are the things that are molding my worldview, molding how I see the world. And I have to be able to say, I take a step back, consume with care, understand that the stuff that's being fed to me may not necessarily be 100% the truth. Right? Anybody can use something and change it to their agenda. Even religion. Let's talk about one that's super popular and ridiculously stereotypical. You take any group of Malay Muslim men, you count to 10, eventually somebody will talk about kahwin 2.
Confirm.
Stereotype. Then they say, tengok Quran kata boleh. Nabi Muhammad boleh, semua boleh. Then they cherry pick, right? It's the same with anything else with religion. They will take the whole surah, they take the whole ayat, they take one line. Ni macam ni.
They didn't read the whole context and everything, but they just assume that thing, oh boleh. But they never read the tanggungjawab, the everything.
I'm surprised you're going deeper into that part.
Yes, I need to. Nanti orang akan ingat boleh.
Dia kami dua.
Oh no.
Nampak.
My dad always say, just imagine, my dad always say this, just imagine I married 2 of your mother. Semua, okay, kalau dia cakap 2 of the mother mesti orang akan macam, oh, the mother must be very wow. You bayangkan, you pening kepala 2 kali ganda. Why? Why you want to pening kepala? Okay, continue balik.
Sebab I tak pening kepala.
You're lucky.
Let's toss that topic out the window. Ultimately, at the end of the day, social media is evolving, it is changing, it is moving. Regardless of whether you like it or not, it will continue to evolve and it will continue to be part of our lives. So how are we as consumers, we as business owners, we as our influencers in our own right? I saw this ad campaign that you are the biggest influencer in your family, right? The things that I do, the things that I say, the way I behave influences the 2 little children. They will follow. I am the biggest influencer here. So if I look at it from the most micro perspective, how can I be a positive influencer, both at home, at work, on the social media space, in public? One of the things that for me that's super, super dear to my heart is something called congruence, where I behave at home exactly the same as I'm at work. Kalau aku pakit terpekau kat rumah, kat kerja, pakit terpekau sama juga. If I'm nice at home, I'm nice outside. So what you see is what you get. The extra energy and all that. That's me, right? How can I influence my community? Because I start with family, I start with friends, I go further into community, then inshallah into the nation, into the world. How can I, kan besar big goals that we have. How can we influence everybody out there? Of course, inshallah, in the most positive manner. Using what tools we have today and what new tools that are coming out tomorrow, the day after. There's always new stuff coming out. So let's have some last words. Amin, what do you say? To wrap things up for today's episode, the impact of social media, what's happening in the future, and how it's going to impact us.
I think it's the few words I want to live by is actually not to be afraid of changes. It's inevitable. Changes are inevitable. Just learn how to just learn how to adapt. Right? Always be a person that is half glass full instead of a person half glass empty. Right? Change is inevitable. Be half glass full. Habis tak nampak gelas je.
Itulah hilang.
Apa rasa?
Kosong bro, kosong.
Tadi dah minum tu tak?
Tadi pagi. But yes, absolutely, I agree with you. You know, don't be afraid of the change. Don't be afraid of the future. Embrace it. You know, hug your neighbor. Say, hey, you know, the end of the world is coming. Let's just embrace AI. You know, the robots are going to come kill us all.
True.
Say syahadah now. Say syahadah. Astaghfirullah.
What if a robot says the shahada?
Oh, Alhamdulillah. Kita Alhamdulillah kan je lah.
Alhamdulillah, marha, brother. What gender are you? What about you, Nazihah? What about you? What about you?
Because I was exposed from a young age, macam yang tadi you cakap yang your kids tak dapat phone kan, but I was at when I was 5 years old, I dah dapat phone dah. So my parents dia ajak I to be freely exposed and learn by myself. It's you yourself need to aware which one is good or bad, which one you want to follow. In your heart, you know that is bad. You know. You don't have to follow people. Just follow the goodness in your heart. Itu je. Yes.
Absolutely right. I love it. Absolutely right. And on that last note, for those of us who are parents, who have young siblings, who have influence, the thing about following your heart, somebody had to put the thing in your heart first. Right? It's nature versus nurture, kan? I always say, I was not born a Satan. I was born an angel. Throughout my life experiences, tadi Satan. Right, but whatever is in our heart is put there by someone. We are the sum of all our experiences, whether it's learning from friends, learning from parents, you know, learning from books, whatever we learn, whatever we consume goes here and goes here. And then after that, we consume, we process, we put it back out. So for those of us out there, folks, when you're consuming social media, beware of what you consume, because you are what you eat. And I don't mean just makan aja. What you consume, what you read, what you listen to, what you look at. You know, like I love looking at $1 billion. Inshallah, I'll grow $1 billion.
Amin.
Is it you like looking at me?
I tengok kau tu sebab kita semakin bulat, semakin handsome. And so folks, alhamdulillah, so if you're out there, remember social media influencing, you are already an influencer in your own right, within your small circle of friends and family, as well as in the bigger circle of social media and on a national level even. So here's the thing, think about carefully what you consume and what you put out there. Okay, we come to the end of today's podcast number 10, woo, number 10. I want to thank you so much. Brother Amin Yusof from another mother, sister Nazihah also from another mother. This is Afiq from Modern Muslim Finance. We'll see you at the next one. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and Selamat Hari Raya.
Raya.
Bye.